Good morning, good afternoon, and konbanwa, wherever you are in the world. I'm the idol to give you the wings to fly, Cyber Angel Rita Kamishiro, and today I have Luke the Uke. Everyone say hi. Luke the ukulele is here with me today for this cozy hour, soft place to land, if you will, a space to breathe, I think is what I called the stream today. Welcome in, Stuart, Mordred, Lifa, Demon Warrior, TND, Bio, Derek, Smiling Doll, Logan, Kautan, Lauren. Welcome in. Welcome. Hello, Luke. Yeah, breathing is very useful, yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's Lucky Luke the ukulele time. Yeah. Welcome in. I know this is a little bit different than what we had planned today. We were supposed to play Honkai Star Rail today. Um, but I felt like I don't know. I just felt like changing what I wanted to do today because I felt like creating a little bit of a different mm, space or tone or vibe. Um, I've already addressed the elephant in the room through my post, but um, you know, there was a very big graduation that occurred in the VTubing community last night. And sorry, I apologize. I know that word is a little bit anxiety inducing for folks, but um, yeah, it's I'm not a very eloquent person sometimes, but just putting it out there. I was seeing all of my friends and peers and fellow fans, showcase all sorts of different feelings um, after the announcement last night. And I felt like I wanted to create an atmosphere that I took absolutely suggestion for that word. Um, a soft space for us to talk about how we're feeling. Um, yeah, kind of acknowledge what's happening and how we're feeling, and yeah, maybe share some memories and our gratitude. Um, yeah, because however you feel about the matter, right? Um, you know, whether if we know in our heart that in the future things will be okay or the future may look bright, that doesn't erase the fact that many of us are shocked or sad or confused or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I just wanted to create this space for you all to share with one another. Maybe I'll play some music. For me at least, music is a great way for me to feel emotion. I already feel emotions very strongly, but something about music to me at least, um, I don't know, helps the feelings flow. Um, so hopefully it'll help the feelings flow for you all too. I do want to take a second though to kind of set some ground rules, set our boundaries for today. Like Shani put in his message, the pin message, um, today's stream may feel a little bittersweet and difficult to think about. So I wanted to set some ground rules, if you will. Um, and there's also a lot of other important information in the description as well. Of course, this is a space to feel how you feel. It's okay to cry or feel sad, but the tone for today is a gentle reflection. So, when sharing, please keep in mind. Please refrain from sharing anything that might be particularly triggering for other people. And again, like Shiny said, if anything at any point becomes overwhelming or difficult, please take time to take care of yourself. If you need to step away, take a breather of your own, or if you need to talk to someone you trust or a loved one, or talk to someone who may be able to have a more professional opinion, then please do so. with that being said, I also am not a professional counsel. I'm just a fellow fan, fellow VTuber, um, who's just here to facilitate um, a time and space for all of us to feel together about about the situation, about, I mean, everything that's been going on. I feel like, you know, VTuber graduations are never easy to go through. And, you as a fan may have gone through many at this point, whether it's in the past, month or year or years. It's never really an easy thing. So, yeah, just a space for all of us to be grateful and think back. Um, yeah, I will also want to say, um, this is not the space for rumor mongering, or speculation. I've already been seeing a lot of that happen on the internet. I just don't think that's a very productive, at least from what I've seen, it hasn't been a very productive, you know, conversation from what I've seen. So this is not the place to do that. Um, so you will get bonked on the head by Shiny if you um, bring about that sort of conversation. Um, Please keep in mind that I might not read a comment, whether it's, chat's going too fast, or, we run out of time, or I'm kind of in the middle of a monologue like I am now. Or if I feel like I can't speak on a certain topic, or maybe it might be particularly triggering for folks. So don't take it too hard if I miss a message. And again, I want to reiterate, I am not a professional counsel. Um, just friendly, words from a fellow fan or fellow VTuber. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll start. We're all sitting in a circle. I guess I'll start. Let me like strum at least. Or I can play a song for you all first. Usually how I use music as a way to, mm, I guess, think about things. I either pick a song that has lyrics that help me sort of think about what I want to talk about, or have a vibe that gets me to think about what I want to talk about. So, yeah, I have the talking stick. Luke the ukulele has the talking stick today. So, or for right now. So, I'll play a song. Um, this is actually a song that was introduced to me by a friend who actually had her own graduation. So it means a lot to me that we've sung this song together, and this is a song that she shared with me. Of course, I still get to talk to her and, see how she's doing and things like that. But it was a very difficult time. So I understand how difficult, whatchamacallit, this feeling can be. So I'll go ahead and play this one. I haven't played this in a while, so hopefully you enjoy the cozy stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if I remember how it goes. I'm sure it'll come to me. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Ah, nice. Take me to the docks, there's a ship without a name there. It is sailing to the middle of the sea. The water there's deeper than anything you've ever seen. Jump right in and swim until you're free. I will remember your face, 'cause I am still in love with that place. But when the churches started singing above their heads. They say, my God is a good God and He cares. I will remember your face, 'cause I am still in love with that place. But when the stars are the only things we share, will you be there? I've got a plan. I've got an atlas in my hands. I'm gonna turn when I listen to the lessons that I've learned. I've got a plan. I've got an atlas in my hands. I'm gonna turn when I listen to the lessons that I've learned. Yeah. That was Alice Hands by Benjamin Francis Leftwich. So the lyrics are very like artsy and poetic, I'm sure. But for me, it's the sort of circumstance of the song. I guess of me coming to know the song. That for me, it was one of the first songs that came into my head. When I decided I wanted to do this stream last night. So like I said, I'll go ahead and start with my personal feelings, I guess, and then I know some people have already started sharing in the chat about their feelings about graduations and things like that. So I guess for me, as not only a VTuber, right, a peer, another VTuber in the space, but also a fan of VTubers in general. I can't say that I'm the biggest, Hololive fan. But what I can say is along with many other VTubers, um, are here because of Hololive VTubers, along with other VTubers as well. Um, and so seeing someone who is a veteran of this space, right, and who's done so much for the VTubing community and also is such an important face for our community, it is a confusing change, right? I obviously, don't take this out of context and take it like this is my personal opinion on, you know, why she may have chosen to graduate. This is not that. This is not that, right? I don't have any sort of uh, you know, my opinion in that matter. My opinion in that regard doesn't matter, I guess. But how I feel about, this change, I think a lot of people owe it to our, the pioneers or veterans of the space. A lot of us feel that gratitude. A lot of us feel, that honor towards, Oopsie Daisy. Don't worry, it was my desk fan. It's okay. um, but a lot of us feel that gratitude towards those who sort of paved the way. So seeing that change, and it doesn't, this happens a lot. A lot of times there are many VTubers out there who go through graduation, and you kind of go through that feeling. So that's where I'm coming from. So hopefully, maybe if you feel inclined to, obviously don't have to share it with everyone if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel safe doing so. Maybe me sharing my personal thoughts and my emotions about all of this. Maybe that's something you can have a conversation you can have with yourself. Whether it's journaling or you're just thinking in your head. Processing your feelings. Because while the clock turns and the world turns and you know tomorrow comes and the future can be bright, that doesn't change the fact that it is sad or upsetting or confusing. So yeah, however you might feel about it, it's I can understand why it may feel that way. Mm-mm. I see there's a lot of folks who were huge fans of Hollow Live. Um, and what I think one thing that really upsets me to see, right? Because a lot of my peers are fans of Hololive or other VTubers who may have graduated, not just in the past, again, not just in the past year or however many years. Um, for a lot of folks, um, they found friendship and community through the various VTuber communities, or I guess sub communities in our space. So seeing the very thing that brought you all together can feel mm, jarring and confusing. Mm. Mm. You saw a little girl dressed as Gurenikon. It was so sweet. Yeah, and like I feel like you know seeing seeing someone who's made such a positive impact on folks, decide, oh, this is what's best for me to move on, and I have other things planned, and you know, it can be bittersweet. Yeah, still processing it. Yeah, and I feel like it's a different journey for everyone, right? Um, you know, for some people it takes a while, or for some people, maybe it doesn't take that long, but it comes back and you think about it. Yeah. Change is always scary, that's for sure. And things do change. Like that is not really something, you know, that happens, that something stays the same always, right? Yeah. Mm. You wish things that didn't have to change so drastic. Yeah, I feel like, I mentioned how a lot of people are grieving, right? I mentioned that. I feel like when people think of grief, people think of grief in only one way. That grief has to be like a a death or something. Sorry, apologize if that was particularly jarring. But grief comes in a lot of forms, right? In loss, in things like major life changes, or you know or major losses, if that makes sense. So, um, yeah, a big jarring change, especially for a community that you're so involved in, can feel like a lot, right? Mm, yeah, it is very daunting. I agree. Mm, yeah, I have a question for you all. If you all want to share, if um, and it doesn't have to be about a specific VTuber graduation. It can be whatever, you don't have to name who you're thinking of, but if you've experienced a VTuber graduation before, think about whatever individual was very impactful for you. And what was the moment that, I guess, drew you in to their community, to their content, and things like that? Like what really struck with you, what really resonated with you, and what got you to join the community or become invested in their art or their content, things like that. Mm, yeah. I feel like I feel like for a lot of people, it's like that's the beginning of a whole era, I guess. Because it's what's that one saying that I say a lot? Um, Kind of like as a joke, because it is a little bit of a cliche, but I feel like it applies. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, right? Mm, yeah. Because I feel like maybe I heard this in a Persona game recently. Maybe I heard this in Persona recently. Oh, I think we were playing and we were talking to Marky. But it's like that sadness and that grief you feel is sort of like proof that, you had a love and appreciation for something, right? But I mean love in like a non-parasocial way. Um, a little bit of a tangent. I've seen some people try to be dismissive of how the community at large has been feeling towards this graduation. Um, you know, trying to just dismiss it as, oh, that's so parasocial, right? Like, oh, you don't even know that person or whatever. But while I do believe that may be applicable to a certain subset of fans, um, two things that just, I guess, popped into my head. One is that doesn't apply to all of the fans, right? And that's not just in this specific case with VTubers, right? That can be in any space. And two, it's just not the time and place to be having that conversation, right? Um, while that is an important topic to address, right? The idea of parasocialism, not just an audience towards their streamer, but vice versa. Um, at a time where everyone is sort of collectively grieving isn't really the time or place to be having that conversation. Um, so I don't know. Just something I thought of. Because while I did think like, oh, okay, like maybe you're coming from a place of concern, it just mm, felt a little bit out of place. Yeah. Mm. Because I feel like you can appreciate someone for the impact they have on not just the community but yourself as well, right? And I don't think that's not wrong, right? We we support celebrities and singers and athletes for their impact on our culture and our community and our own personal journeys. And that can be done in a healthy way, right? Doesn't have to be, you know, unhealthy, I guess. So I just wanted to point that out. Sorry, tangent. I saw that somebody had commented that. Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope that you don't see those messages and feel invalidated, right? Well, that is certainly a conversation that some people might want to have or think about. That's I just don't think it's the time and place for that. I feel like, feeling sadness and grief over the loss of someone who was central to your community and maybe your personal journey, not just as a creator, like maybe as a person, right? Maybe you were inspired to grow or change or be better. Um, so yeah, I think it's a very real feeling, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad or an invalid feeling. Yeah, exactly. Like I think a lot of people like to throw that word around a lot, but I think just having an appreciation for an artist in that like you support them in whatever way you can or is normal, right? And I'm not gonna dive into the conversation because, like I said, this isn't the time or place to have that conversation. Well, many people are sort of grieving over graduation. Mm, yeah. Mm, but yeah, it was nice seeing folks' first moments of finding their ways into a VTuber community. I think it's wonderful. I think, like I mentioned, I think for me the biggest pain that I feel is seeing how we as a community are hurting. Mm. Because any VTuber, no matter how big or small, has an impact on other people, right? So seeing how our community handles, you know, loss in that way is a lot to deal with, I think. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. I feel like for a lot of people being able to relate to a VTuber's experiences or how they think or how they do things, you know, it feels like validating. Does that make sense? Like it feels like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one who is like this or feels this way. So, mm, I understand that feeling. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. The one thing the VTuber space brought into the world is they made the G word feel so final. Hmm. It's amazing how fast you connect to the other person on the other side of the screen. Yeah. I feel like in moments like these, we can also connect with one another as fans. I think that's one of the sort of lights that shine through the, you know, the dark clouds is seeing fans comfort each other and connect with one another and share their memories. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And I think, you know, wishing for the best for whatever VTuber graduates is what we can do, I guess. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe I don't know where the need for, you know, rumor mongering and speculation comes from, but to a degree it just becomes so unhelpful and toxic. Um yeah. And I don't want to give any more space to that, but I feel like what we can do as fans, right, is wish for the best, right? Hope for the best, show our support, and if we do feel the need to make any sort of change or you know make movements, right? We do so in a way that's productive and not spiraling in any sort of way. Um, yeah, yeah. Doom posting only hurts. Because while letting your feelings out, right, giving acknowledgement to whatever you're feeling is important, right? You don't want to bottle it up. There is a level of you can't keep spiraling, right? You have to be able to acknowledge your feelings, but then be able to lift yourself up. Um, yeah, and it's kind of sad to see uh, when people dig themselves deeper and deeper. Mm, yeah. There is a healthy way to let it out. I agree. Mm, but yeah. I'll play another song. I've been chatting for a bit. So I guess while I play another song, uh, I'm trying to think of comforting, cozy ukulele song. Oh, here's one that I do a lot. Um, let's see. Mm, mm, yeah, and you bring up a great point, Bio. Um, check on one another. Um, I feel like it's so easy to be in our own sort of routine and have, because I'm sure we all have lots of things in our mind, right? I can attest to that myself, right? But if you're able, if you have the time, if you have the space to do so, check in on one another. You know, check in on your community, check in with yourself. I think folks might need that more than you might know. So I'm looking for a song to play. Yeah. Okay, I got while I play another song for you all, share with me um any silly memories, a wholesome moment, or maybe something you were inspired to do. Maybe you were inspired to change or create something or something like that. Yeah, happy moments and moments you cherish. Exactly. Mm. Mm. Hey, let's go. This is Over the Rainbow. I feel like this one's a cozy. Mm. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dreamed of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you did do. Why, oh why can I someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to. Why, oh why can't I? Yay. Cozy, cozy. Luke time, look at you. You remember the first time when she played Devil May Cry 5 and fell in love with the series legitimately? Oh, that's always so fun. Seeing someone like falling in love with like a game or like an anime for the first time. Like that's the beginning of it all, right? Mia, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, hello. For those who are new here, I'm the idol to give you the wings to fly, Cyber Angel, Rita Kamishiro at your service. And today is sort of a space for some gentle reflection, a soft place to land, if you will. Gentle place to let out whatever feelings you have. There is notes, I guess, some ground rules in the description if you want to go ahead and check those out for us. If you want to chat in our chat today. Of course, you don't have to if you want to just sit back and think and relax. You're more than welcome to do that too. But thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. The room light resembles a halo. I actually just realized that now too. That's so silly. It is a little bit big for my head, right? But yeah, we're just chatting a little bit and then sort of just having some jam sessions in between. So, um, yeah, it's kind of a sort of bittersweet stream today. So please do whatever you need to take care of yourself. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Did you hear about Abby's hiatus announcement? Yes, I have. Well, all of Prima Project still keeps in pretty regular contact, so I probably knew a little bit ahead of time, but it still hurts. Or not. Well, it's like change. We mentioned it before how change can be scary, but it's a bright future to look forward to, right? Yeah. You thought it was intentional? That's so silly. Mm. But yeah, we shared a little bit about, for those who are just tuning in, we shared a little bit about of our favorite memories and whether silly or wholesome or maybe something that, and again, it doesn't have to be a specific YouTuber. It doesn't have to be Gura, right? It can be, but maybe you'd like to share a graduation memory or a memory about someone who graduated um, in your recent memory. Um, yeah, it's always tough, right? Every VTuber graduation has an impact. You don't have to be a big VTuber, be a VTuber of any size for however long. Everyone has an impact on other people. Um, but yeah, we also talked about, in what ways do you feel inspired by um, maybe a VTuber who has since graduated? Um, what about a try to think of things that are, or I guess since we just had a little bit of like a sharing moment, I guess I'll say that it is very normal to feel uh, sadness, to feel grief. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. How it means that somebody has made an impact on you, right? That sadness is sort of proof of someone's positive impact on you, or it's proof of that the times that we as a community have shared matter, right? Um, but yeah, these sorts of connections, right? These attachments that we feel, not just towards creators, celebrities, athletes, to each other, right, as a community. These are very meaningful, right? And I mentioned this before, and I'm not going to bring too much attention to it again because um, sort of not the topic at hand, right? That's a different topic, different time and place. That connection can be very meaningful and not in any sort of parasocial way or any sort of bad way, but in a sort of human way. I think it's very natural to feel connected to other people and that we share the same love for music or games or anime, right? Feeling that sort of camaraderie that we share similar humor or similar likes or dislikes, right? Any cilantro dislikers out there? No. But, you know, we are sort of not just here in this space, but we're here for each other, I guess, in supporting one another and sharing our memories and things like that, and the moments that we hold near and dear to our heart. We're here because we've shared that sense of community. And that community will always be something that we carry with us, right? Not and not just in the things that we do, like sharing our artwork or our music, but how we take that inspiration and that motivation we've gotten from people and how we impact other people and bring positivity into other people's life and how we help other people or how we help ourselves. Um, we carry these things in those ways. For me personally, like I mentioned, um, I may not be the biggest fan of something or someone, but I as a peer in this space, as a creator in this space, I have a huge respect for people who sort of paved the way and also, inspired me to become a VTuber, right? Um, I appreciate and I show gratitude um, for the fact that I'm here and that this is something I get to do, right? This is something that I love to do and I get to do. Um, yeah, and I carry sort of that a piece of their impact in me, right? In everything that I do. Yeah. I'm reading some of sorry, in between my monologues, I guess I'm going through and I'm reading some folks' silly moments and it makes me laugh. Oh my gosh. Mm, mm, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still scrolling. Uh, yeah, I think it's totally fine to feel a little down, right? Um, you know, have some time to think about it and yeah, process how you feel. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to focus on the sort of legacy that all of these creators have, you know, created, right? Whether it's in the communities that they've helped shape, the people that they helped uplift. I think it's also a wonderful time to do that, right? Focus on, not, what we've lost or things that we've missed, but sort of, you know, things that we've gained, I guess. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a really big change. I get that. Mm. It's definitely a new chapter for sure. I think thinking about it in that way rather than like this is the end of a chapter, but instead thinking of it as a new chapter might be a nice way to think about it. Hmm. But yeah. Do you have I guess words that you've shared with folks to, you know, uplift other people who might be going through a difficult time? Um, I think another tangent, I apologize, is one somebody mentioned like it feels like an end of an era. I've seen a lot of people say things like, "Oh, it's the end of this. It's the end of the VTuber era, or it's the end of like it's so over, or something like that." And while I do acknowledge that it is a very jarring change, it can feel very scary and confusing. Um, I feel like we shouldn't, and I know this isn't the intention, right, behind those words. I'm sure it's not the intention, but it almost sort of, dismisses the fact that there are still many, creators and VTubers out there doing their best to have a similar impact, right? Maybe even VTubers who are inspired by those who have graduated. Um, they're doing their best to continue spreading that positive impact um, that was bestowed upon them, I guess. So, mm, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, one chapter closes, another one opens. Yeah. I get that, Nara. I think there's a lot of people who are view what we as a community are going through and have opinions on, what we might be feeling, whether informed or uninformed. Um, and I feel like sometimes it feels really invalidating. Um, but I want to. I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but feeling sadness and grief over such a big change is very real. I mean, if you weren't feeling the way that you did, right, then it wouldn't be real. But the way that you're feeling and whether it's emotional or physical, right? Because your emotions can affect you physically. It's very real. You're going through it right now, and I think it's very valid to feel that way. We've and again, you know, there's a time and place to discuss how these sorts of attachments can be maybe unhealthy. But again, edge case. We're not going to think about that. Um, well, not now. It just doesn't seem right to talk about that now when we're sort of focusing on. I keep bringing it up, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah. Uh, for a lot of people, their friend groups were formed through a community. Uh, you know, the sort of inspiration behind what they do or what they create was sort of built upon these creators in their community. So, yeah. Mm. Yeah, one day at a time. And it's, it's okay to feel the way that you feel. Mm. But don't let yourself spiral. Exactly. But again, healing is a very personal thing. And you don't want to have your very personal experience be dictated by someone who doesn't understand or isn't willing to understand what you're going through. If that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm. I think it's fine if you mm, be. I understand wanting to like knowing that things can change quickly, right? And I can understand why you might want to avoid sort of that heartbreak, I guess, by being like, oh, I know that things change quickly, so I don't want to get involved. I hope that isn't that fear of loss or heartbreak doesn't keep anyone from experiencing that joy that they may have by being part of a community or enjoying someone's art. Um, you know, I don't know. But you do you, right? Whatever floats your boat. But you know, mm-mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. Better to love than never to have loved at all, as they say. Yeah. Mm, yeah. And if you just popped in, I do have in my uh description avoid rumors and speculation. This is not the place for that. This is more so a space for gentle reflection, sharing our memories and our gratitude, letting it out. Mm-mm. Yeah. Uh, I'll play another song. If you don't mind, it's a song I haven't played before. Um, but it was a song that I thought about when I was thinking of uh stream titles for today. Um, actually don't know how to play this one. Let's take a look. Let me think of something for you all to think about while I learn this song and play it. Um, hmm. I guess I want to know, moving from this, not just this stream, but also from like yesterday's announcement and moving forward and inevitably whatever graduations you may experience in the future. Um, how do you support other people? How do you support your community? How do you pick yourself up um, when you face something difficult? That's what I want to ask you all. While I learn this song and jam out a little. Sugar, sugar butterfly. Sometimes I still see her, my mother, the dreamer. She'd say nothing's impossible, child. A dream needs believing to taste like the real thing, like some stranger you recognize. So pure, so electric, so sure, so connected to those little believers inside. May we all be so lucky. But dreams are elusive, the kind we've gotten used to is nothing I can feel, nothing I can hold, nothing that I have, nothing that I know. Dreams come and they go, but hold them and keep them. You know that you need them when your breaking point's all that you have. A dream is a soft place to land. May we all be so lucky. Sugar butter flour. There you go. Thank you for the raid, by the way. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in. How's everyone doing? Hope you liked that one. I've never played that song before. I hope you enjoyed my sight read. It was a song that I don't know. I just felt like it was a song that I listened to kind of help process my thoughts. I'm very much the kind of person who listens to music whenever I want to think about something. So yeah, I hope that was something that helped you think about the questions that I had. If you just joined, I kind of posed some questions and thoughts for folks while I did a little bit of jamming. And those questions were something along the lines of, how do you support others? How do you support your community? How do you show up for your community when, there's a big jarring change or there's something difficult we have to go through? How do you support yourself? How do you pick yourself up and keep going, right? When change is so scary and things feel overwhelming. Yeah. I guess for me is I try to find, because for me, I think the biggest pain, I mentioned this already, but, we got folks coming in. I think the biggest pain for me, not just with the graduation announcement yesterday, but in general, these big moments for our community that are difficult to process. I think my biggest pain is seeing folks, sorry, lack of better phrasing, going through it. Sorry, not the most eloquent person, but I try to think of ways to give back, I guess. I think because what in these sorts of difficult moments, I try to find the sort of silver lining and, hopeful tidbits here and there. And seeing other people support one another in a productive way, in a positive way, trying to lift one another up and find that community um, in such difficult moments. Find those moments of humanity. Those are the moments that inspire me to think about how I can give back to the community. And so, for me, as someone who listens to music to process how I think and how I feel sometimes, I figure creating a sort of soft place to land um, for folks to share their memories or share their, gratitude and their feelings is important to me, I guess. And doing so with, I guess, questions to help kickstart your thinking. Because I know that's difficult, right? There's a lot of difficult feelings that you can have, and it's not always great to think about or to feel them. Um, so having a little bit of a nudge, like here's something smaller that you can think about, right? That maybe can help you open up that bigger conversation. So that's primarily why I had this stream today. I think to me, doing that in and of itself is also very comforting to me. Because I know that you all can hopefully get something from that. You can start to have a conversation with yourself or with your community or someone you trust um, to do that. So, just being able to do that is comforting for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'll share that. That one is a song called "A Soft Place to Land." So that's why I was thinking about it today. I listened to it a couple of times when I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you all. Um, being sorry, more of my personal story, and hopefully this inspires you all to think about your own personal stories and your journeys. But um, this song, I just lost my train of thought. Ha ha ha! Silly Goofy, who scatterbrained all the time. Um, hmm, I was gonna say something about the song, maybe. I can't remember. The song is called "A Soft Place to Land" from Waitress, and it talks about the importance of dreams and having a dream, um, and how dreams are a soft place to land, right? Um, Even though dreams feel elusive and out of reach, um, they're important. They're important to have, and that's why we hold them, and that's why we keep them because we need them. Um, when everything seems like it could go wrong, like you're at your breaking point, a dream is a soft place to land. That's at least to me. That's what the lyrics mean, and that's I know it's a little like unrelated, but mm, I feel like it's a song I also listen to when I feel like mixed feelings about something. You know what I mean? Or if something feels overwhelming, um, I try to find something to hold on. You know what I mean? Um, what do we hold on to when things feel so overwhelming? So that's why I was thinking about that today because I was trying to think of ways to help folks out there who might be mm, having a difficult time finding stable ground, right? Like I mentioned, change is very scary and it feels like it feels like the world is crashing down, right? Um, but finding something to hold on to, finding something to stabilize yourself, finding something to keep you steady in these very turbulent times of your brain having so many emotions that you don't know what to do with them, right? And for some people that can be, your loved ones, your friends, your family. Um, that can be your craft, your art. Um, it can be, music or somebody else's art, right? You can appreciate music, or maybe a game, gives you safety, like your go-to game. Um, so yeah, I hope that, you'll be able to find calmer waters soon. But of course, everyone's journey is different. Don't rush yourself to feel a certain way. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Definitely agree. Mm-mm. Yeah. It's always, I could totally agree with that, Logan. It always feels like it's those mixed feelings that seem to hurt the most, because it's like sad is sad, right? Sad is sad and happy is happy. But how are you supposed to feel about bittersweet? How are you supposed to feel about poignant, right? Mm. But even then, sadness can come with a tinge of happiness, and happiness can come with a tinge of sadness. Like, sadness isn't always a bad thing, right? Sadness can inspire you or motivate you. Obviously, you don't want to spiral and be overwhelmed with negativity, but like, anger can inspire you to change things, right? To stand up for people. Um, instead of, that anger being misplaced or becoming unproductive, you know? Mm, yeah. I feel like we have such a tendency to stray away from negative feelings. 'Cause they're not great. They don't feel good, right? Being sad doesn't feel good. Being angry doesn't feel good. But I feel like there's definitely ways we can turn those feelings into something productive, help and move forward. Um, on the flip side, happiness isn't, all sunshine and roses, right? Happiness can be, you know, become wild, I guess. mm, yeah. I guess, my sort of, I don't want to say closing thoughts. I don't know if I want to close off this conversation for the day. Um, I guess what I want the takeaway to be for today, whether we end in 15, 30, whatever the case may be. I guess my takeaway for today is what I sort of asked you all before this past song I just sang, is how can we support one another? How can we support our community? How can we keep the conversations productive? How can we, maybe, if we are able to, how can we sort of share this understanding with people who are like looking, at our community outside in, right? How can we be empathetic in those sorts of interchanges? Oh, English is a difficult language. Um, in those interactions, right? How do we prevent unproductive conversations and spiraling and rumor mongering and things like that? How do we prevent that from tearing us apart and, separating us in times when we should be using these sorts of emotions to, if we really do feel so inclined, to lift our community up and be inspired and motivated to do good and make change, right? Um, how can you do that too? What sort of attitudes can you carry with you when you do have conversations about our the way our community industry works at large? How do you come to the table, right? When you have these sorts of conversations. Um, hmm, yeah. Hmm. Anything you would like to share or have a happy memory that made you smile? Hmm. in terms of just VTuber graduations in general, um, mm, I think for me, it's definitely seeing how the community comes together to celebrate a creator's legacy. I think to me, the power of togetherness and community is the most inspiring and motivating to me. And that's not just, in the times of like a graduation, right? But that's during, a streamer's, I guess, time streaming, right? So much good has happened, right? You know, there have been really big like community events, charities, and even on an individual level, seeing people's lives turn around, seeing people pick themselves up because they were inspired by a creator or a member of their community. I just think there's so much power and in positive impact that we can make on other people, and you don't have to be a creator to do that. Um, and seeing that power and positivity and impact on people, like make a make a good change. I think that's very inspiring. I'm kind of repeating myself, aren't I? But it's awe-inspiring, I think, to me. And it keeps me doing what I'm doing, right? And I think a lot of YouTubers can say that. I think a lot of YouTubers who have graduated will look back and mention that as one of their biggest sources of pride, if you will. Mm, yeah. So I guess, mm, yeah. So I'm also like, I don't know if you can tell, I'm kind of like also thinking um as well. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. More people want to carry out their ambitions through VTubing. Um, Others see VTubing as an additional expression. Yeah, I think VTubing has grown into something that so many people can experience in so many different ways for whatever reason. And, seeing where we've come from and seeing our veterans, sort of change and grow along with the changing times and seeing them move on and decide to do something else with their life. It's like wow, like change can also be inspiring and exciting, in addition to being scary and confusing. Um, yeah, I feel like I don't know if I would have been able to discover that I can do what I love to do. Um, if I hadn't found VTubing, if I hadn't found um VTubers. So, um, well, I may not. Again, I've mentioned this before. Well, I may not be the biggest like active day to day fan. Um, I hold a huge, incredibly huge gratitude for people in this space who have paved the way for me and many, many other VTubers to feel validated in what they do. And yeah. Aww, the hug emojis. Thank you all. This is so sweet. See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean about community. Yeah. Because I think about people telling me, and I'm still an active VTuber, right? Like people telling me, like, oh, seeing you do this inspires me to chase my dreams or pursue my passions or just do something fun, right? With VTubing. And I think about how other VTubers have had that impact on me, right? And yeah. So I have huge amount of respect, and I'm sure many other VTubers can say the same. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Sorry for those who are expecting Honkai Star Rail today. That'll be Sunday. But yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. What are we all looking forward to for the future? Yeah. Anything exciting you're looking forward to? An exciting event, you know, exciting changes coming on the horizon. Thank you for the stream, of course. Um, yeah. Oh, of course, Stuart. I'm very lucky to have you all. I talked about this on my Twitter, but you know, an archangel had mentioned like you're never gonna leave us, right? Well, I do appreciate the sentiment, right? You appreciate what I do, and what I do has an impact. That really means a lot to me. Um, I can't promise anything. No one can promise anything in nothing is really set in stone, right, in life. Things are always changing. Um, but what I can do is enjoy and cherish the time I get to spend doing what I love and chasing my dreams and sharing my love for music and games and anime with you all and enjoying and cherishing all these fun times that we have. Um, yeah. So, mm-mm-mm. Mm, yeah. So, hmm. Honestly, it was unexpected. I think different people, you know, different people have different ways to sort of think about things. And yeah, you know, obviously the world keeps turning, right? You don't want to spiral and totally, even though it seems that way, right? Like the world is crumbling all around you. But, I mentioned this earlier, people finding their soft place to land, people finding their something that makes them feel stable and safe. That's different for everyone. I think seeing everyone feel incredibly upset or scared was upsetting for me. And so, in order to sort of mediate that, I just wanted to do something to offer a space for people who may be feeling shaken like a milkshake. I don't know. I am not the most eloquent person in the world. Um, yeah, scrambled like an egg, if you will. Um, but yeah, you're feeling very stirred, shaken, not stirred, sir. Could have fooled me. Gotcha. Oh my god. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, change happens, and whether we expect it or not, it still hurts. Um, yeah. Mm-mm. Where was I going with that? With what? All of the like scrambled like an egg, shaken not stirred, shaken like a milkshake. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think it's important to, while it's important to acknowledge those feelings and recognize those feelings, I think being able to find something to hold on to is just as important, right? Whether it's your friends, your family, your community, your art, your routine, right? Mm. Well, can I be honest? I was listening to the song earlier, and I was listening to the original, like Sarah. I always forget how to pronounce her name. Sarah Bareilles. Like listening to her like demo, I like cried. Music, music. It has such a. I don't know why, but music is such a strong thing on me. And I think that is the case for a lot of other people too. It has a way, it has a power exactly to like allow you to feel things that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise felt, right? Music has that way of doing things, helps you guide your thinking and asks the smaller questions, the easier questions, right before you have those tougher questions. I think those sorts of things help sort of move emotions through you. So this song, I don't know, the lyrics are just so impactful to me that it made me cry. Because again, what I wanted, my outcome, or my goal for today was to give you all, I guess, a chance to sit with how you feel, or try to understand those feelings, right? Give you a soft place to land. And so, like, thinking about the lyrics, it made me cry. You should go listen to it. My silly sight read version is one version, but you should also listen to the original. Thank you for the water check. Read a cry, scream. Ah! Read a cry, scream. Nah. I don't think that's how I'm feeling today. If that's how you're feeling today, then by all means, please let it out. Should I sing that song for you all? Let it out. Let it all out. Let it all out. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I'm getting the chords. Uno momento. I'll sing it for you all. It helps you all think through how you're feeling. Compilation of Rita's screams. I have this weird thing where if I accidentally say scream instead of stream, I'll follow it up with a ah. Yay, humming, so common. Yeah, I'm just pulling up that. Oh, sorry. What is happening? Oh, we were just giving some cozy tunes while we chat and talk. I might be wrapping up soon. I thought it'd be a nice, quick little stream. A scream. Ah! If screaming is how you let it all out, then let it all out. Let it all out. Let it. I'm trying to load it on my my laptop, because I can turn my laptop to portrait mode, so that I can fit more chords. But my laptop is so slow. It's old. It's old. It should be some. Put it there. You're in a soundproof room. You could actually be as loud as you want to be. I want to go to those rooms where you could just like, ah, and then like no one can hear you. Oh my gosh! Let me go through these chords. I want to become more proficient at the ukulele. Oopsie. Sure. Let's figure it out. Yeah. Let it all out. Let it all out. So you got enough day in the net.
誰もわからないよ長い長い道の途中でなくしたり拾ったり急に寂しくなって泣いちゃう日もあるけど涙も痛みも星にあかえよう明日を照らす明かりを灯そう小さく迷っても二人で作ろう星屑を強く光永遠を探そう
Me forgetting what key I'm in, so I'm like, well, how do I resolve this? There you go. Yay! Oh my gosh. Yay! Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. I actually just finished rewatching FMAB recently. And I cried together with my friends. Hmm. I really like. Can I play these songs again for you guys? I feel like it's. I don't know. It's just like something about playing music that I'm sure, it allows you all to think and, feel and sit with your thoughts, right? But something about it is also calming for me too. Um, I'll just read the ones that I pulled up for today, and then we'll call it a day. Um, so I'll do here. Here's what I'll do. I'll kind of bring up the sort of questions and things that we talked about earlier today. I know we had a couple of raids today, so maybe you weren't here for those parts of the stream. But in the beginning of the stream, so whatever questions you feel the most attached to, you can think about those while I play the songs again. I haven't practiced these, so I apologize if it's a little scuff. Um, but don't let that take you out of the moment and you're thinking. But the first sort of section we did was we kind of shared our memories and our gratitude for whatever creator or VTuber maybe has gone through a graduation or maybe has moved on to a different, I don't know, career path or a different space or maybe either, whatever the case may be. Um, it can be whoever. What was the moment that you first became a fan or you first became a member of the community? What was something that you were inspired to do by these people? Um, what is something, you're motivated to do? Any silly memories or wholesome memories that you'll always carry with you? Um, what else? Um, you know, in these sorts of moments, how do you support others? How do you support your friends, your family, your loved ones, your community? How do you support yourself? How do you lift yourself up? What grounds you? What sort of stabilizes you when things feel like they're all falling apart? How do you move on? How do you find hope in the future? What are the other questions we had? Um, how do you give back to the community? How do you make sure that the conversations we have in our community stay productive? How do we combat, you know, speculation and toxicity and, you know, I don't know. Those are the sorts of questions we asked. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I'll just do a quick reminder for the songs that I'll play. This first one that I played today was Atlas Hands. This was a song that was introduced to me by a friend of mine who had gone through a graduation. And that was a very scary and difficult time for a lot of us. Specifically, I was a member of an agency previously, of Prison Project. and it was a very big transitional time. So thinking about this song not only makes me think about, my friend who has graduated and since, has, you know, done lots of cool things and is really happy and, you know, I still get to talk to and I know that they're doing well for themselves. Um, but also reminding me how me and my friends were able to weather the storms, push through a very uncertain time, a very scary change, and, still support each other and be there for one another and stay positive. So this is what this song, I guess, means for me. It's Atlas by Benjamin Francis Left. Oh, let me look at the chords. I can remember that. Let's see. Okay, okay.
Take me to the docks. There is a ship without a name there. It is sailing to the middle of the sea. The water there is deeper than anything you've ever seen. Jump right in and swim until you're free. I will remember your face, 'cause I am still in love with that place. But when the stars are the only things we share, will you be there? Money came like rain to your hands while you were waiting for the cold, long promise to appear. People in the churches started to sing above their heads. They said, my God is a good God and He cares. I will remember your face, 'cause I am still in love with that place. But when the stars are the only things we share, will you be there? I've got a plan. I've got an atlas in my hands. I'm gonna turn when I listen to the lessons that I've learned. I've got a plan. I've got an atlas in my hands. I'm gonna turn when I listen to the lessons that I've learned.
Yay. Ooh. Yahoo! Oh, for those who are new here, by the way, this is Luke the ukulele. I just recently got a new member of my instrument family. Guitar. I'm still deciding on the name, but I can't decide if this guitar is gonna be Grace or Greg. I'm leaning more towards Grace. Um, yeah. I'm trying to. You know, wanna go into studying music, so I got a guitar for auditions and such. You know, you know how it is. Um, but yeah, so maybe you'll see Grace join Luke. I figured I needed more girls in my instrument family. The two eldest in my instrument family are both boys. Oh my gosh, Sebastian the viola and Luke the ukulele. So, oh my gosh, I was thinking Greg, like with the guy from Steven Universe. Oh my gosh, but I thought Grace would be nice. What if Kazu had the kazoo and I think Kazu has a girl? Oh my gosh. I want to be a voice actor. That is something I want to do. Is it Miko? Miko JIRC? Yeah. Yeah, upon me to the name, I think I'll decide for sure next week. I do. This next one was the one that I was talking about that made me cry. I think maybe the Raiders might have listened to this one. This is a soft place to land from Waitress. Waitress is it's musical. It's very silly, but also very solemn musical. Like it's silly, maybe a little raunchy, but it has some very solemn theme. So if you do end up watching it, it is tough to get through in some parts. Yeah, let me take these chords again. This is it. Yeah. Okay. Let's try it again. I want to learn this one. I think I want to cover it. Such an impactful song. Mm-mm. Hold I have a tendency to tune things flat, but I try not to.
Sugar, sugar, butterfly. Sometimes I still see her. My mother, the dreamer. She'd say nothing's impossible, child. A dream needs believing to taste like the real thing, like some stranger you recognize. So pure, so electric, so sure, so connected to those little believers inside. May we all be so lucky, but dreams are lucid. The kind we've gotten used to is nothing I can feel, nothing I can hold, nothing I can have, nothing that I know. Dreams come and they go, but hold them and keep them, and know that you need them when your breaking point's all that you have. A dream is a soft place to land. May we all be so lucky. Sugar butterfly.
I like that one. It's very comforting. Yeah. Comforting song for when it feels like you're a little shaken, a little stirred, a little scrambled like an egg. It reminds you to hold on to something that can keep you stable, like a dream in this case of this song. Um, yeah, soft place to land. Yeah. Mm-mm. And then I'll wrap up with the song that I just sang. Oh my god. Mm. Yeah, this is let it out, let it all out. Sorry, remembering the chords. Of course, Advin, my pleasure. Yeah, I like doing these when I can. I know it's not always like easy to sort of talk about these things. I can speak from my own experience, being talking about very emotional things does require a lot of mental load. um, but I felt like it was needed, so I'm glad. I'm glad it could help. I think just talking things out sometimes um can be really helpful. So hopefully that I can inspire you all to, you know, have a little conversation with yourself about how you're feeling, or maybe with your friends or your trusted ones, your loved ones. Maybe you're a journaler. Maybe you're like me and you listen to music to think about things. Mm, yeah. All right.
Let it all out, let it all out 強がらなくていいんだね誰かが書いてた壁の落書きの花が揺れる自分らしさなんて誰もわからないよ長い長い道の途中でなくしたり拾ったり急に寂しくなって泣いちゃう日もあるけど涙も痛みも星に変えよう下を照らす明かりを灯そう小さく迷っても二人で作ろう星屑を強く光永遠を探そう
Yeah. This is Let It Out. It's from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood ending song. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Do we want to end on a more positive, like a not positive, uh, more energetic? Do we want to? Is that the sort of vibe we want to go for, or are you okay with the more somber? Yeah. Yeah. I hope that for those who are still having difficulty, um, with whatever it is you might be going through, of course, take your time. Healing is a journey that's different for everyone, and there's no, you know, exact way to do it, right? Um, but I hope whatever helps. I hope this has helped. I hope you can continue to find things that you can hold on to while you navigate very difficult feelings. And like Shiny said, I'm not professional counsel. I'm just a girl in the world, doing what she can to give back. You know, um, hopefully that this has helped spur a conversation, whether it's a conversation you'll have with yourself or a trusted professional. Maybe this is the beginning of your journey to, helping yourself and picking yourself up, whatever the case may be. hope it helped a little bit. Yeah. You like the pace of this stream? Okay. I'll keep it there. If you wanted something a little bit more energetic, you can join me for the not so secret ending. I'll think of something. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here, whether you're lurking, you're chatting, you're vodgang. Whatever the future may hold, you know, I wish us all best. I hope we can continue to be there for one another. I think there's so much power in community. So I hope you all can continue to be there for each other, for yourselves. And yeah, thank you all for being here today. Hey, bye. So the awkward ending, I apologize. But thank you all for, rolling with my sudden change in stream. Okay, bye! Bye-bye. We're gonna go ahead and raid Quinn. Quinn's doing a subathon. Quinn Siren is doing a subathon right now. I think Quinn might be sleeping right now, but if you wanna drop a message in the chat, show your support. So maybe leave a message for when Quinn wakes up. I think that'd be sweet. Oh yeah, I wanted to do a secret ending song, didn't I? Let me think. Oh, I have an idea. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Haha, hee hee hoo hoo. Tee hee tee hee. Okay. If you all want a more energetic, uplifting song, this is for you. If you wanted to leave it off on a more calm note, you're more than welcome to switch the tab. Or maybe you're on your phone if you want to, I don't know, switch the app. Okay, sorry. I'm a silly person. I hope that doesn't ruin the vibe. Oh, here, I'll just put it up on my computer. My laptop is freaking out. It's very, very old. So, it's on its last leg. Such is life. It's good to be silly. Yeah, sometimes you need a little silly. Dun, dun. We have our method to the madness. Okay. All right, secret, not so secret ending. Let's do it. I have to turn the music off, don't I? Oh, chords that I don't remember. Okay, let me turn this off. Oh, nope. Okay, there we go. What do you all think it's gonna be? Secret ending. Gosh. Okay.
からの心を照らすものは何叫び続ける光届くまで Falling through the cracks 暗闇で落ちてくあなたのその手を絶対離さない Tell me the story of your life まだ道の途中あなたを私は絶対諦めない抑えられない衝動何がない日々は愛 以上懐かしい風に振り向けばいつでもあなたの声がするよ。アンダードッグは守り道しても逃げるよりマシよ。自分で自分を信じられなくちゃ誰を信じるの。光にその手かざせ Oh yeah shining through the clouds 暗闇で落ちてくあなたのその手を絶対離さない Tell me what is on your mind 果てしない夢を追いかけ僕らは絶対諦めない。
I actually don't know the song past the opening version. It's like 人生に抜ける共にっていうかall right. Go wish Quinn a lovely subathon, and I'll see you when I see you. Maybe tomorrow for some Xenoblade, or Sunday for our makeup Honkai Star Rail stream, or maybe for some Persona next week. Okay, bye. Ay, 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 ay.